Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling a supplement that, well, let's be honest, often gets pigeonholed. Essential amino acids, EAAs. You hear that, you probably think gym buffs, right?
But that's the common picture, yeah. Post-workout shakes.
Exactly. But our mission today is to really move beyond the gym floor. We want to uncover the critical, maybe even surprising roles these molecules play.
Across the board, really.
Right, across health, aging, even specific medical situations. We're using our sources today as a kind of map to understand why these 9 molecules are so indispensable.
Okay, sounds good. So maybe we should start with the basics. Just lay the foundation.
Good idea.
We've got our 3 macronutrients: carbs, fats, and proteins.
Yeah.
Proteins are the most complex structurally. They're built from building blocks called amino acids. There are 22 of them.
22 total.
Yep. But 9 of them get this special label: essential or indispensable, you might hear.
And essential means?
It means our bodies just can't make them from scratch. We absolutely have to get them from outside sources.
Food or supplements.
Exactly. Exogenous intake is the technical term.
So we're zeroing in on these 9 we must get. Can you maybe list a few, the big names?
Sure. The most famous are probably the branched-chain amino acids, the BCAAs. That's leucine, valine, and isoleucine.
Heard of those?
Right. But you can't forget the others. There's also lysine, threonine, histidine, tryptophan, phenylalanine, and methionine. Need all 9.
All 9, and why are they so critical?
Well, they're required for making all human proteins. Think about that. Muscle tissue, tendons, antibodies for your immune system, even just the basic structure of your cells. It all relies on having those EAAs available.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's unpack that a bit. What happens if we don't get enough? If we're deficient in these 9 essential guys? Is it just like feeling a bit weak?
See, this is where it gets really interesting based on the research. It goes way beyond just feeling weak or sluggish.
Okay.
If the body doesn't have these basic building blocks, it actually enters a state of, well, high stress. It can't do the repairs it needs to do.
Stress because it lacks the materials. Yeah, that tracks.
And this leads to what the researchers call hyperactivity. Your sympathetic nervous system, that's your fight or flight response, goes into overdrive.
Really?
You get more adrenaline, more dopamine, those stimulating neurotransmitters.
Hang on. So you're saying not getting enough of certain amino acids could actually feel like an anxiety disorder or something?
In a way, yes. The symptoms can overlap. And one really, really characteristic sign of this state:
What's that?
insomnia. Serious trouble sleeping.
Get out. Just from an amino acid imbalance.
It's a strong possibility, often missed. Someone might think they're eating okay, but if they have persistent insomnia, difficulty falling asleep, staying asleep, this could be a root cause, an EAA imbalance.
That is genuinely surprising. Wow. Okay, so 9 are strictly essential. You mentioned sometimes others can become essential, depending on the situation.
Exactly. We call those semi-essential or conditionally essential. Demand just outstrips the body's ability to make them under certain conditions.
Like what?
Okay, first example, arginine. For infants, it's strictly essential. Their growth rate, especially vascular development, is just so rapid they need way more than their little bodies can produce.
Makes sense for babies growing so fast. What's another one?
Glutamine. Healthy adults usually make enough, but if you have major physical stress, like really intense overtraining or trauma or significant illness, your plasma glutamine levels can plummet, and then it becomes essential. You need external support, supplementation to handle that load.
Right. Okay. This is fascinating. So the applications, the source material highlights 7 key areas where EAA supplements are really important, often in ways you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, it goes far beyond the gym.
Let's start with the obvious one, though: sports and exercise.
Okay. Yeah, for athletes, EAAs are kind of recovery 101. It doesn't matter if you're lifting heavy, doing CrossFit, running long distances, you're causing tiny tears in muscle fibers.
Microdamage.
Exactly. EAAs are what the body uses to repair that damage, recover faster, and if the stimulus is right, promote hypertrophy muscle growth.
And this brings up a really crucial point, right? The difference between just taking BCAAs versus the full spectrum.
Absolutely critical. For years, the supplement world was kind of fixated on just those 3 BCAAs: leucine, valine, isoleucine.
Because leucine triggers muscle protein synthesis.
It triggers it, yes. Leucine is like the key starting the engine, but it can't build the car by itself. You're missing the other 6 essential parts.
So you need the whole crew.
You need the whole crew.
Yeah.
The science is pretty clear now. If you want a real sustained anabolic effect, actual muscle repair and building to the summer, you need the combo of all 9 EAAs. They need to be in the right balance, the right synergy.
What do you think Liz is like?
Trying to build a house with only, wood, no nails, no foundation, it just won't work effectively.
Gotcha. That's a huge takeaway for anyone training. Okay, let's shift gears completely. Pregnancy. This one really surprised me. Why EAAs during pregnancy, especially starting midterm?
Yeah, this is really elegant biology. Around week 21, 22, something shifts. The mother's body naturally develops what's called endogenous insulin resistance.
Insulin resistance. Isn't that usually bad?
Not in this context. It's programmed. It's the body's way of making sure the growing fetus gets first dibs on nutrients. It slightly reduces the mother's own tissue's uptake.
Okay, so it shunts nutrients to the baby. Smart.
Very smart. But there's a consequence. That state, plus higher levels of hormones like cortisol and prolactin, it actually causes catabolism in the mother.
Catabolism meaning breakdown.
Breakdown, yes.
Yeah.
Specifically of her own muscle mass and collagen structural tissues.
MLEs too.
Well, that loss of structural integrity, especially collagen, can make women more prone to things like varicose veins or cellulite long-term. It weakens the support structures.
Ah, okay. So the EAA solution here is
Supplementing, usually around 10 grams, maybe twice a day, starting around that week 21 or 22 mark. It helps prevent that breakdown, that catabolism. It lets the mother maintain her own muscle and collagen structure.
without interfering with the baby getting nutrients.
Exactly. It supports the mother without any negative impact on the fetus.
That feels like a really practical, powerful intervention.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the other end of the lifespan. Aging. Sarcopenia. That's the age-related muscle loss, right? Kicks in around 60, 65.
And EAAs are absolutely central to combating sarcopenia and promoting healthy aging. It's a huge factor in frailty and chronic disease in older adults.
And it's not just about being physically weaker.
Not at all. Maintaining muscle mass does so much more. For instance, there's a strong link to bone health.
How does that work?
Muscle tissue actually helps anchor minerals like calcium and magnesium into your bones. Stronger muscles help maintain bone density.
So fighting muscle loss helps fight osteoporosis.
Directly. It significantly reduces the risk of fractures. Plus, more muscle mass means a better immune system, a healthier endocrine system, and it keeps your basal metabolic rate, your background calorie burn higher.
What's the typical dose for older adults?
It's often a bit higher, maybe 10 to 20 grams a day, especially if they're not very active, to really counteract that natural decline.
Okay, so thinking about other stresses,
Yeah.
what about acute situations like major injuries or surgery?
Oh, definitely. Any big trauma, a bone fracture, a serious tendon tear, even planned surgery, puts the body into a crisis state. The recommendation is often EAAs before and after the event
Why before as well?
to prepare the body, shore up resources. But the after is crucial because when you're immobilized bed rest, a cast, whatever muscle mass, just plummets incredibly fast.
And as we've established, losing muscle has wider effects.
Exactly. It throws your hormones out of whack, impacts your immune system, ramps up inflammation, slows down healing. Supplementing helps manage that inflammation and, crucially, prevents that really rapid muscle wasting. It leads to a much smoother, faster recovery.
Makes sense. Okay, let's talk about kids. You mentioned malnutrition isn't always just lack of calories. Sometimes it's specific deficiencies.
That's right. And it's interesting, even in developed nations, you can see kids who technically get enough protein overall, but they're deficient in specific essential amino acids.
How did that happen?
Often with picky eaters, kids who really avoid meat or fish, or maybe eat a ton of refined carbs, white bread, pasta, not much else. Those foods lack the full spectrum.
Okay, so for those kids, or maybe kids in intense sports.
Yeah, for active kids, judo, football, whatever, 10 grams after their activity is great for recovery, just like for adults. For picky eaters, you can actually just add that 10 grams into a meal or a drink. It's tasteless and doesn't cause digestive issues. It's just a nutritional top-up.
Good to know. All right, another specific group, vegans.
Yes, EAAs are, I'd say, fundamental for vegans to be aware of. They're usually good at tracking B12 and iron, but amino acids need to be on that list too.
Don't some plant foods have all 9, like soy or quinoa?
They do contain all 9, yes. But getting the ideal concentrations, especially enough leucine to really kickstart anabolism, can be tricky just from whole foods, particularly for vegan athletes with high needs, or someone on, say, a vegan keto diet, which is very restrictive.
So what's the strategy there?
A common recommendation is 10 grams, taken about 15-20 minutes before maybe 2 of their main meals each day.
Why before the meal?
2 reasons. First, it's like an insurance policy, fills any gaps. Second, it primes the pump for anabolism. It gets that leucine signal going right before the food arrives, telling the body to get ready to build and repair, maximizes the use of the meal's nutrients.
Oh, okay. Now, for the really specialized use case, you mentioned this is kind of where EAAs got their start. Patients who need to restrict protein.
Exactly. This is the historical bedrock. Back in the 80s, in Italy, EAAs were synthesized specifically for patients with chronic renal insufficiency, or CRF, severe kidney failure.
Why was that necessary? Why not just give them protein?
Because when kidneys, or the liver, in cases of cirrhosis, are severely compromised, they can't handle the waste products of protein digestion, specifically high levels of uric nitrogen. It's toxic to them.
Oh.
But patients still need amino acids to prevent muscle wasting. So the genius of using these pre-digested free-form EAAs is they provide the building blocks without creating that high nitrogen waste load. It bypasses the problem.
So they can maintain muscle without further damaging their organs.
Precisely. It's also incredibly important for cancer patients on chemotherapy.
How so?
Chemo often causes severe nausea, vomiting, rejection of food. But these patients are fighting terrible muscle loss, sarcopenia, and their immune systems are suppressed. EAAs can be a lifeline, providing essential nutrition when they literally can't stomach solid food. Helps them stay stronger to fight the disease.
Incredible. Okay, we've covered the why extensively. Let's get practical. If someone decides, okay, EAAs might be for me, what about timing and quality? How do you maximize the benefit?
Good questions. For exercise, timing is key for that anabolic effect. The sweet spot is peri-training.
Meaning?
Right around your workout. Ideally, maybe 10 minutes before you start, or you can sip on them during the workout itself. And for the biggest bang for your buck, pair about 10 grams of EAAs with a small amount, say 30, 40 grams of specific high glycemic index carbs.
Like cyclodextrins or amylopectin?
Yeah.
Why those specific carbs? And why high GI?
Yeah, things like that. You want high GI because you need a fast, sharp insulin spike, but you also need carbs that empty from the stomach quickly so they don't cause gut issues during training.
And the insulin spike does what?
Insulin acts like a key. It opens up the muscle cells to let the EAAs flood in right when they're needed most. It maximizes uptake and helps prevent muscle breakdown during the workout.
Got it. What about timing outside of workouts? You mentioned pre-meal.
Right, that's the other great strategy. Taking 10 grams about 15 minutes before a meal, especially one with protein and carbs.
And the logic there again is the leucine.
Exactly. Leucine's big job is to stimulate insulin release and, crucially, activate something called the mTOR pathway.
mTOR. Sounds technical. What is that simply?
Think of mTOR as the master on switch inside your cells for growth and repair. When leucine hits the system before a meal, it flips that switch to on. It basically tells your body, hey, nutrients are coming, get ready to build.
So it makes the whole meal more anabolic.
Pretty much, yeah. More efficient use of those incoming resources.
Okay, this leads directly to the question everyone asks about supplements and timing. Intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
Do EAAs break a fast?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, unequivocally.
No gray area there?
Nope. One of the main points of fasting is keeping insulin low, right? And allowing for processes like autophagy, where your body cleans up old, damaged cells.
Okay.
Since leucine actively triggers insulin release and fires up that mTOR growth pathway, taking EAAs completely breaks the fasted state. It undermines the core metabolic benefits you're fasting for.
So save them for your eating window.
Definitely. Keep them out of the fasting period.
All right. Last piece of practical advice. Quality. If you're buying EAA powder, what should you look for? Does it matter where it comes from?
It matters hugely. You want really high quality. The best standard is EAAs derived from vegetable fermentation.
Vegetable fermentation.
Yeah. It ensures purity, bioavailability, and means it's not derived from animal sources, which can sometimes be lower quality or have contaminants.
How do you know if it's from vegetable fermentation?
Look for brands that state it clearly. Often they'll mention their source, maybe using logos or names from reputable manufacturers known for this process, like Kiowa or Ajinomoto.
Okay, Kiowa or Ajinomoto. Good markers.
Right. Seeing those names is usually a good sign of quality control and also confirms it's vegan-friendly.
Perfect. Well, this has been eye-opening. We've seen these 9 molecules aren't just about muscle. They're critical from infancy through aging, during pregnancy, recovering from injury, managing specific diseases. Just fundamental.
Absolutely. They're foundational for the body's ability to repair, rebuild, and just maintain itself effectively day in and day out.
And it really drives home that point you made earlier.
Yeah.
that just eating a balanced diet isn't always enough. It doesn't guarantee you're getting the right amount or the right balance of these specific EAAs for your needs.
Exactly. Supplementation, in many of these cases we discussed, acts almost like an essential guarantee. It protects against deficiencies that can have these weird downstream effects impacting sleep, mood, inflammation, long-term stuff like sarcopenia or bone health.
So, given that huge range of effects, or the hyperactivity, the insomnia, the slow recovery, the structural issues during pregnancy or aging, here's something to think about. Could some persistent, maybe vague health issue, you're dealing with something that hasn't quite responded to the usual fixes, could it possibly trace back to a simple lack or imbalance of these essential building blocks? It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other foundational pieces of our diet might we be missing?